Well, today I want to talk about problems and solutions. So, my latest problem that I had to try to overcome was the fact that I had 3 battery-powered pieces of equipment. It was a great little product while it lasted. These are Cub Cadet. Also, you'll find them under the name of GreenWorks. But I have this great pole saw, I had a leaf blower, got a chainsaw. Handy little outfits. They come with this 20-volt battery, and I had a couple of them. You just plug them up. You know, it's real handy around the house. No gas. Don't worry about it starting. You plug it up. You're always ready to go. Had them for a couple of years. They've done great, but recently we've had to start having problems with these. Actually, we sell these. I'm a Cub Cadet dealer, also on the lawnmower shop. And a lot of customers are bringing them back with bad batteries. Well, over time they swell up and pop. This is what they look like. They end up swelling up and busting. They pop the tops right off of them. So, which wasn't no problem so much as long as you could get new batteries. But now it's got to the point you can no longer buy batteries. The batteries have become obsolete. And in fact, right there's the part number right there. That part number is now obsolete. I've been trying to track them down. They can't anywhere. So I've been doing some research, trying to figure out, what I can do to keep from throwing this power equipment away. Well, also at our store, of course we sell Cub Cadet, but we also sell a brand of 20-volt cordless equipment called Core. It's a great product. It's got these huge battery. Here's the battery pack goes in them, and they're sold with a 5-year warranty. They're unique in the way the motors are designed. See, here's your motor. It's very lightweight. There's the motor at the end of that, and then here's a hedge trimmer, there's the motor. Each one uses the same motor. And here's a leaf blower. There's a great job. There's string trimmer, hedge trimmer. So I brought those power tools home to try. They work great, but I still had the issue of these 3 pieces of equipment that I can now no longer use. So I got to thinking, well, this equipment is 20 volts, and this equipment is 20 volts, but they're 2 completely different brands. Batteries won't interchange, no how, no way. But there was the same voltage. So I got to look, and so I said, okay, let me look at this battery, and I determined where the positive and where the negative was. And I got the connection on the chainsaw here, so then I took this battery, because I still know it's 20 volts. I got my positive, so I jumped me some wires to it, put it through the chainsaw, tested it, and it worked fine. So, okay, all right, well, I know the battery will work. But then I got to thinking, okay, how can I take this battery and make it fit this chainsaw, this leaf blower, and that pole saw? Well, that was a little bit more of a problem, a little head scratcher. So I said, okay, let's see what I can do. So I got to thinking about it. I took my weed eater apart here and took the battery box out of it. And this is the battery box. So I took the battery box. I cut one ear off of it because I didn't need it. Took the battery box, so now I can take this battery, plug it right into the battery box, and in turn plug it into the chainsaw. But now there's a little bit more to it to that. In order to make that work, I had to figure out a way to make the connection. So because I already had one battery that died on me, this one here, and luckily I kept it. Remember, they swell up and they pop the top off. So I still had the old battery and I had the old top, because that's my connection there. That's your special part that slides in there, locks in place, makes the connection. So I took the top of the old battery and I mounted it to the battery box. In order to do so, to get the 2 to work, I had to make this little block of wood. So you can see there's a little there's a notch where you can see how this side's got that notch in it all the way down. So I took this block of wood on my table saw and cut it and then routed that out so it would make room for that hump, and I got a good solid connection. And if you can see inside, so I got 4 screws going through there. I drilled bigger holes in the bottom so I can get a big long screwdriver in there and tighten them up. And then on the wood side, how I mounted the wood to the top of the battery case is I countersunk my screws. You can see there where they're countersunk. And I ran them up completely through the case, all the way, and then took my Dremel tool and cut the heads, the screws off, so it made it flush. then you can see what's left of the other two. That's where they came up through, and I cut them off. So after doing that, so now I've made me an adapter to adapt this larger, still a 20-volt battery off of a core string trimmer. Will now work on a Cub Cadet trimmer. And let's see if I can do this one-handedly. So now, when I want to use my chainsaw, which my batteries are obsolete, okay, pop that in there, and just take my battery, pop it in with one hand. I think. There we go. Well, I haven't got to put my phone down. Pause. Okay, I'm going to try this again. One-handed. Take the battery, slide it in here. Alright, now squeeze the trigger. Okay, now my chainsaw that I was about ready to throw away now has a big Mac Daddy battery on it. I'm going to go out here and cut all kinds of wood. Then I take that battery out and take it over here to my weed eater, different brand, plug it in, and I can cut down some weeds. Or then if I want to go back to my Cub Cadet and say I want to, this is the pole saw, that's the best tool right there, this big long pole saw, that thing is great. Oh, where'd my adapter go? Okay, yeah, take this off, plug in. Okay, split fish. I got to get me something. I need a third hand. That's what I need. If I had a third hand, it'd be great. Okay. Plug that in here. Plug that in. Okay, now my pole saw works. Same way with the leaf blower. I plug it in that little leaf blower and it'll also work. So if you happen to have the same type of equipment, a little bit of time and effort, you can do the same thing. And start to finish, you know, it took me about 3 hours. Time I sat down, figured it out, and made my parts, made my adapter and everything. But now I've got, I actually got 6 pieces of equipment now that I can operate off the same battery. So I like that idea, because I know it's just a matter of time this one's going to conk out and I cannot get a replacement for it. And one reason I'm wanting to go to a lot of battery power stuff is, you know, today's gas with ethanol is a real pain with little hand tools, especially weed eaters and stuff where they sit around so much. With the ethanol, unlike a car, your ethanol, your car is a sealed system. It's not exposed to the humidity and the moisture. With power equipment, a lot of their fuel tanks are vented to the atmosphere. So that means the ethanol will draw the humidity and the moisture right out of the air, straight into your fuel tank. Same like this. You get this gas can, you go put gas in it, and it's probably got 10% ethanol in it. And if it's not sealed really well, if this ain't sealed up, or if you got an old can like this and you don't have any way to seal off you leave it open to the atmosphere, it's going to suck moisture right in there. And the moisture and the water will mix with the ethanol. And then the ethanol and the water starts creating a horrible corrosive. And it will make your fuel lines turn into bubble gum. It will get down the carburetors. The carburetors are just corrode all up. We see it all the time. It just makes for a real mess. Now, during the summertime, if you're using your product equipment a lot, you can get by with it. But especially in the fall when you put stuff up and then go to get it in the spring, you find it doesn't start, and that's when everything's all eat up. Fuel lines are turned to mush, or sometimes they get really hard as a brick. The primer bulbs crack. Carburetors have all kinds of goo inside of them. Makes for a real problem. Another bad thing is the ethanol. It can separate, and ethanol and water can actually settle to the bottom. So there's cases where, say for instance, you got a chainsaw, and if you know a chainsaw, you got your weighted fuel line, and it sits in the bottom of your fuel tank. And if that gas has been sitting in your gas can for maybe 6 months, and you go put it in your chainsaw, you don't shake it up real good beforehand. You just pour it in there, and it's been sitting in your saw for a long time. You go to start your saw, you might be running on straight ethanol, and and the oil's not mixed with it, and it'll just destroy your engine in no time. So ethanol's a main thing. So if you got power equipment, do your best to buy fuel that has no ethanol in it. Make sure your cans are sealed up. Keep the moisture out of them, and so your equipment will last a lot longer for you. But that's the reason why I'm going to a lot more battery stuff, so I don't have to deal so much with the fuel issues. I just plug it up and go. You know, I got a small place here, but it's handy if I want to grab a chainsaw once every couple of months and cut a limb. I know with battery powered, it'll be ready to go. So I guess that's all I got for you. Pardon my mess, but my projects, they seem to get this way. Have a great day. One more thing, you might find this of interest. People who have these pole saws anyway, they come out from the factory with a little 8-inch bar, tiny little thing. But I adapted a 16-inch bar. So if you want a 16-inch bar, contact me. I can fix you up. I got those in stock. Same way with the little chainsaw. It came out with a real small, little short bar on it. But I also put a 16-inch bar on it and chain. So you get a lot more use out of it. From a little 10, well, maybe that was a 10-inch. But anyway, too short of a bar to get any work done with. So that might help somebody out.